Masterclass by Shine.com. It's my pleasure to introduce our expert for today, Mr. Chandraasekar Gollapudi, a seasoned leader and communication specialist with over 2 decades of experience in the ITS sector. He's a dedicated mentor and trainer who has empowered 8,000 plus professionals, 6,000 teachers, and 1.5 lakh students with his expertise in communication, leadership, and professional development. Today, he'll guide us through the topic how to crack your first interview. So, audience, we request you to note down your questions and share them during the Q&A session at the end of the workshop. So, let's give a warm welcome to Mr. Golapudi as we begin this insightful session. Over to you, sir.
Yeah, thank you, Shubhangi, for that wonderful introduction, and also thank you for the opportunity that is given to talk to people and talk to audience. Yeah, so can I share my PPT?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, good afternoon, everybody. So my name is Chandraasekar Gollapudi from Hyderabad, based out of Hyderabad. I worked almost for 2.5 decades in various corporations, both India and abroad. And of course, like last decade or so, I'm into full-time training because of my passion, passion to help people realize their full potential. So I'm on the mission to help people realize their full potential. I've already touched upon 3 lakh lives, almost close to that. So next 5 years, I have a mission to touch remaining lives. So okay, with that, just she already given, so I'll not spend time again going through my introduction part any more time. So let's get going. Yeah, can you see the screen? Can you just confirm? Some of you,
Yes, sir.
Shubham, you
Yes,
can
sir.
see the
We
screen, right?
can.
Okay. So okay, this actually will be covering essential skills. Initially, like I thought, we should cover for the interview. Then that followed by you get into any organization, you also know to know the skills that would be required for you to have to do well, to thrive in workplace as well. So why communication is so important, we're going to discuss that in its role in your career. So if you ask me, for my opinion about communication can make or break your career. It's as simple as that. So you need to work on that on a daily basis and pick it up and polish it, to hone it, and you should be a good communicator. So nothing short of that, nothing short of that can work in corporate world. Yeah, so tips to improve, so that also will take, and the last 15 minutes, as she told, we'll spend with Q&A session, so where you can ask questions and we'll be able to answer to the best of our ability. So it's just fine, so we'll get going. So yeah, so these are some of the organizations I worked earlier. So last 25 years, I worked 25 years of my career. I worked in various corporations, both India and abroad. So these are some of the corporations I worked. And the best part is I worked across continents and domains. Domains, include aerospace, automotive, like and heavy engineering, rail, all of this. How is that was possible? If you ask me how that was possible to work across domains, it is because of communication skills, understanding customer requirements well, and communicating well back to them with our requirements, and asking for the inputs and all that. So only communication makes all this possible. So you need to have a good communication, because some of you or most of you will be working with overseas clients. So you need to have a good communication to go, to start with your career, in fact. Yeah. Okay. So these are some of the awards I received after, as a part of for contributions in the area of training. This is one more award I received. Okay. Bharat Ki Anmol Rat. So these are some of clients I currently work with. So these clients I've been working for last almost 2018 onwards. For last 5-6 years I've been working. So we have big customers like Adani, Mahindra also in the list. Yeah. So coming to the list of skills that would be required for both interview and workplace. So communication is on the top, as you can see. Here you can see communication is on the top. Why communication is on the top? Once you get into any job or any organization, up to that point, your academic skills are important. Both academic skills and of course communication skills are also important. But up to that point, communication and also your academic skills will be looked into. After that, it is only communication skills that drive you up the ladder of any corporate. If you're not good at that, if you don't want to improve, you become stagnated, as simple as that. Okay. So time management skills, you should be good time manager. And the presentation skills, like you should be able to present yourself or present your work, present your team, present your like input to the customer, or present anything, like you should be able to present, dress well. That's also presentation. You have to present yourself, dress well, like trim, like grooming is the very important part of your presentation, right? Stress management skill, because there's a lot of stress. It's not going to be like your college days, or it's no more of that. So once you get into corporate world, it's altogether different world. And you have a lot of pressures, because your deadlines to meet, or you have to work during the time periods which you don't like, because you may be sleeping, your other when you're in college, you may be sleeping at that time, but you're asked to work during that time. So all this will put you to a lot of stress. You need to have some skills or some mechanism of managing the stress, so that you don't get affected by the stress. Also sleep well at the end of the day. So that is a very important. Emotional intelligence. Why emotional intelligence is important? Because you have to understand the emotions you go through. First of all, self go through, and also emotions other people are going through at the time of communication. Then only you can communicate well, and accordingly you can customize your communication based on the emotions people go through, right?
Right.
Technical skills, of course, are very important. Adaptability, resilience is like you need to adapt to the situations quickly. And you need resilience is what, like bouncing back. You may fall, you may have a failure, but quickly you have to come back. And the resilience is like you treat the failure as a like a stepping stone, and you quickly come back and get up and running again, start running again. Okay, it's like that. So some more skills. This is purely for workplace. Interpersonal skills, of course, you will be working in a teams most of the time. 90%, 99, 95% of the time you have a team to work with. So your interpersonal skills, like when you have to communicate with others, you need to have a good communication. You need to, like, people need to understand what you're communicating, right? So we'll also share some practical examples of these things, some of these things, so that you'll be able to relate where are the issues you may face and how to overcome those issues, right? Problem solving, critical thinking, very important part in workplace. Leadership skills, like nobody tells you, like sometimes nobody tells you, you need to take initiative. You need to delegate some of the things that if it is something is assigned to you which you cannot handle, you need to delegate it and get it done. So that's what is leadership skill, right? You also have to develop your team members. If you're a senior, you need to develop your juniors. You need to be mentoring them, right? That's all leadership, part of leadership skills. Culture diverse, because it's a very like as it mentioned, we work across the cultures. So different cultures will have different communications. Same communication, if you communicate with every culture, they may get hurt with some of your communication. So you need to be aware of that, what hurts them, or what are the words that you should not be using as a part of your communication. Because same words across different cultures may differ, actually may give a different meaning to the people across the culture. So you need to be aware of that before you start communicating across the cultures. Networking skills, you need to network. You need to network and grow your network, and share care for the people around you, right? Basic financial literacy, because what are the benefits you'll be getting, and how much will be the take home salary, all that you should have that basic financial literacy. Otherwise you may be taken for a ride. So you need to be aware of that, right? So so can they communicate? Is it possible for them to interact on the chat?
No, actually not
So that
so.
is also disabled. Fine, fine.
They'll be putting up questions in Q&A section.
Sure, sure. Okay. What are the positives of good communication? So as I mentioned, communication can break or make your like your career. If communication is good, you go up career ladder very fast, as I did. In fact, in a decade's time, I went from a team leader to I became vice president operations. So all because of my communication, customer management skills, and communication skills, right? And of course, all other things, many other things will depend, but mainly communication, right? If you work on communication skills, you'll become good at problem solving. You become good at creativity. You become good at interpersonal skills. You become good at negotiation skills. All this become as a byproduct once you master your communication skills. So that's very important. What happens when you don't communicate well, or what is the like consequence of bad communication. We'll see that in the later later slides. So communication, like it is across the organization. Some things will have to be communicated from top to bottom. So everyone needs to know some things about the communicate, like about the company policies and all that. So they will be, that's also communication will be used. Smooth and unperturbed functioning of organization. Communication is the most important. If there's no communication, people start imagining things, or people start assuming things in their own way, in their own perspective, and they draw a lot of meaning, different meanings for the same communication. So that may happen if communication is not flowing smoothly across the organization, all levels, right? So what will be the bad effects or bad consequences if communication misunderstandings happen? Relationship may affect with your colleagues, and even your relations in your with loved ones also may get affected if you're communicating not well, if you're not listening to what they're saying and communicating accordingly, right? Missed opportunities, if you don't communicate well, like you may lose on-site opportunities. Like most of you may be working, um, for a software company, IT company, so where you have on-site, going to on-site, like people work, look forward to that kind of opportunities. If communication is not good, how can they send you to place where you will be working closely with the customer? So you have to, day in day out, you need to communicate well with the customer and also take inputs and send back to the offshore, get the work done. So you may become a coordinator kind of stuff. So for that, you need to have good, excellent organization skills, excellent communication skills. All of that is required, right? Mistakes in works, because if you don't communicate, people misunderstand and they may do things wrongly, and it may result in rework and a lot of effort, wastage of effort. So unnecessary conflicts, because people may say that you communicate that way and I understood this way. No, I not communicate that way. No, you misunderstood, something like that, and all conflicts will arise because of communication not being effective. Grapevine effect is like people are will be engaging themselves in rumors. They create their own communication, start spreading that, right, as a rumor. So that may not be truth, but they'll spread that. Some people will be very much interested in gossiping and spreading rumors in the organization. So you need to be aware of that. Mistrust means like people lose trust if you don't keep communicating well. Low morale of the people, broken work culture. That becomes like people take things for granted because nobody cares what is to be communicated, how to be communicated, all that. So all that can happen, right? Okay. Okay, if you want to really excel in communication, these are the things that will be the qualities that are required. You need to feel good about you, first of all. How many of you feel good about yourselves? Is a question you have to ask yourself. How good you feel about yourself? Am I good in communicating? Am I good? All this self-esteem is like you have, what is the feeling that you have about yourself? How much respect you have for yourself? So if you have respect is high, all successful people, all excellent communicators have high self-esteem. Period. So you need to have that to improve your communication. Stress-free mind, of course, is think through clearly before you speak. So once you speak anything, once the words goes out of your lips, it cannot be taken back. So every word you speak will have effect. So every word you need to be careful in uttering any word. If you word a wrong word in the wrong at wrong time, it may hurt people's feelings. So you need to be very careful of choosing the words, right? That is stress free. If you are stressed, you may use abusive words sometimes at times, and that actually spoils the relationship with your colleagues and with your loved ones, dear ones. Yeah. So concentration short, because listening is a part of communication, very important part of communication. I don't know how much people are aware. It is a 50% of communication, is almost 45 to 50% of communication listening only. If you're a good listener, you automatically tend to become effective communicator, because when you listen well, you understand people better. So you'll be able to in a position to give a better solutions to their problems if they come with you to share problems with you, right? So listening is the most important, most difficult part of communication, because we don't listen. We say we are good listeners, but we don't listen. Of course, since we have a short time for this session, we'll not be able to take up any activities. Otherwise, we'll have a lot of activities to prove that we are not a good listeners. We claim we are good listeners, but we are not, right? Okay, confidence, because confidence is a must. If you don't have confidence, you cannot face the audience, or you cannot face your higher ups, or you cannot face the interviewers, and you cannot open up your mouth. If you are not confident, you cannot even open up your mouth and say few words which they can understand. So confidence is a vital communication, right? Excellent time management skills. Again, why we have to tell, like, you have short time, you're it's competitive world, you need to learn and retain and remain and remember, right? And you will not get all the time to speak. So you may suppose you're given a 1 minute to speak, say about yourself. You need to be finishing that. So you need to be aware of that 1 minute. How much is a 1 minute? And you should be like customizing your communication according to that. So you don't get all the time that you ask for in the world to communicate. So whatever time is given, you should be able to communicate effectively in that time. So that's why time management becomes a very important part of communication as well, right? No fear of failure. So if you talk something wrong, don't fear for that. So you will improve. So when you fail and realize that you failed once, you don't repeat that mistake again in your next conversation. You become a little polished, little improved version of from where you made a mistake. So you had to make a mistakes, but quickly, so that you become a successful communicator or effective communicator quickly, fast. No limiting beliefs, like some people can say, like, I'll only be able to talk one to one, or when I cannot face 100 people and talk. So they're all limiting beliefs. Every human being is given the power, and of course you need to just tap and bring them out, and you can every individual can do wonders. Only you have to recognize that you have a potential to do that. All the potential is within you. Of course, if time would have been there, of course we could have done some activities to show you that you have all that potential and power within you, right? Okay, good. So if communication has to be effective, so these are the things that that has to be right, that these things have to be right. Otherwise your communication may not be effective as you intend to be. Context has to be right. You cannot communicate any type of communication every time. So you need to find the good context, good time to do that. Timing has to be right. Words chosen, because I mentioned as before, if you choose one wrong word at wrong time, it can do the damage, unrepairable damage, like irreparable damage it can do. So you need to be very much aware what words you are using to communicate. You have to have all that clarity in the mind before you start communicating. Clarity is the king in communication. So we call clarity is a king. So when you can have a clarity, when your mind is calm, peaceful, and relaxed, when you have a mind which is relaxed, it becomes all the more powerful. You need to be relaxed all the time. Even the situation is negative, you need to be relaxed in that negative situation as well. You have to learn this art of being relaxed in any situation. Then only you can communicate well. Agitated mind will not serve the purpose. Agitated mind will not get you the right words right time, because you are agitated, your mind is agitated. So you may use some abusive words also, right? So body language. In communication, 55% of the communication happens through body. It means like a non-verbal. Even I don't speak anything, I just sit quiet for some time, you'll understand what's going on in my mind, what I'm trying to convey, intentionally, unintentionally. 55, more than 50% of the communication happens through your body. Body keeps communicating from the time you wake up to the time you go to bed. So you have to be very much aware of your body language, non-verbal communication. It's almost 7 to 10 times powerful than verbal communication. So when your verbal communication and non-verbal communication match, your communication becomes all the more effective. So whatever you're speaking, your body is also saying the same thing. That's what I mean. So they need to be in sync. Both need to be in sync for your communication to be effective, right? Channel of the communication is important. Body language, voice, tone, pitch, all these are important. You cannot use the same modulation throughout your conversation. So you need to be modulating, wearing your modulation, changing your voice. Take it up, take it down as required, as and when required. So you cannot be speaking as a straight line. Like you have to be keep modulating your voice, right? Pauses. Pauses are very important part of communication. Why pauses are important? What is a pause? You will not speak for some time. You speak something and just pause. Like 2-3 seconds or 4 seconds. You keep smiling, looking at the people, looking into their eyes. You pause. Why pauses are required, are important in communication? Suppose you're too fast for your audience. You're speaking very fast. Your audience are not able to catch everything at that speed. So you need to allow some time for people to absorb what you communicated and process it. Process it and ask if any questions if they have. So pauses are allowed for that. Pauses are required for that. In communication, pauses are very important. You need to have a pause. You cannot keep going on speaking. You need to pause from time to time and ask questions. Like if you have a question or pause, they'll process and ask questions if they have. Right? Appearance, of course, if you're not appearing, if you're shabby in looking, if you're not looking, you have a bad beard and looking dirty, shabby, nobody pays attention and nobody pays trust what you say, because appearance makes things like matter a lot, because trust comes from your appearance, what you speak, how you speak, right, how you appear. So we are speaking truth or not, or you're speaking diligently or not, they'll make out from your appearance. So you need to be appearing good, at your best, I should say, at your best in the public places. When you go to office, workplace, or interview, you should go and appear at your best. Then only you will be like, people pay you attention to what you're saying, or encourage you to speak, or like spend more time with you to talk, to converse. Otherwise, if you're looking shabby, wearing dirty clothes or crumpled cloth, nobody gives you time to speak or to converse with you. Right. Okay, up to now it is clear, so far so good. I'm not able to again allow you to chat or converse. So
No, now the audience is able to chat on the webinar chat,
okay,
and they are putting up some comments also.
sure, okay, fine. So all these are clear. So this if you want to be your communication to be effective, you all these things have to be right, then only your communication will be effective, right? Okay, let's go to, so communication skills. We have a lot of communication is not just verbal communication alone. Most of us think that communication means only spoken language. No, it is beyond that. Much more is there. Just one of the elements is verbal communication, spoken words or spoken communication. Beyond that, we have so many things: non-verbal, visual, listening, writing, reading, right? Storytelling is very, very vital in communication. If you want to be really highly successful in your career, you have to be a good storyteller, excellent storyteller. You should have excellent story narration skills. You should develop that. Of course, it works for both interviews and also at workplace, right? Seeking and giving a feedback. So about you, why you seek a feedback or why you give a feedback for improvement, right? If I ask you for feedback for this session, what is the intention? Intention behind that is to, okay, whether I've done well or I need to improve when I have opportunity for this kind of sessions next time. So seeking and giving a feedback is with the intention of improvement. So people have to think only, no, you should not give a feedback for the person, for his behavior, right? So it will actually leads to a lot of conflicts. If you then you stay like pointing fingers, you say you start addressing people by you, word you. Use a very dangerous word in corporate world. You is a very dangerous word, right? When you use, you're using it as a accusatory language. You're accusing the person you're conversing with. You did it, you, because of you this went wrong. So if you use it, that then people get offended. right? So that word to be avoided. Of course, I will come to that. Some words that are need to be avoided when you are at workplace or in when you are facing an interview. Asking right questions, very important part of communication. If you're not asking questions, it means that communication may not be very clear to you, or I have to be clear. So when I ask question myself, so in communication, you have to remember speaker is responsible for making the communication understood, not the listener. It's not listener's responsible to understand it. The way communicate or speaker indented. It is the speaker's responsibility in communication to make sure that his communication is understood in the right intention, in the way it is intended. Otherwise, it is nothing for no, you cannot find a fault with the listener or receiver. It is a responsible speaker. If you are a speaker, it's your responsibility to make sure that your communication is understood by your audience. Okay. Emotional intelligence, because there are both negative and positive emotions, and today in today's world, emotions are very high, both negative and positive. Negative is more, so you need to be aware and keep yourself away from that negative emotions, or people who actually like have a lot of negative emotions. Otherwise, you also get affected. Once you become negatively affected, emotionally affected, your communication also get affected, because you start talking emotionally imbalanced. You become emotionally imbalanced, so your communication will not be at its peak, or it will not be of effective. It will not be very effective if you communicate when you have a negative emotions. Okay. Okay. Verbal communication, these are the important things. Clarity of language, of course, whatever language you may use English, or you may use your regional language, but whatever language you use, you need to have clarity. What words you're going to use, how you're going to use, right? All of that. Choice of words, what words you choose to communicate effectively, those that communication you wanted to pass on. Tone and pitch, of course, tone and pitch have to be raised or lowered as required. Suppose I ask you, are you coming? You may say, yes, I'm coming. What's the first tone? Can somebody just chat it in the type, put it in the chat? What's the first tone? It's high tone or low tone? When I ask the question, are you coming?
I don't.
Okay. The other side reply comes, yes, I'm coming. It's a low tone, right? So it's
Right.
like there's no harshness in that communication. He's asking, maybe the person who is asking that question may be frustrated. He's maybe waiting for that person for some time. So he's frustrated. He tended to ask that question, are you coming? Can you see the difference? The tone changed,
Right.
the pitch changed. The other side person is cool as as always, as ever. He says, yes, I'm coming. Don't worry, I'm coming. So you have to be able to understand this high pitches and low pitches communication. Also, you have to use it accordingly in your communication. Non-verbal, of course, key factor, facial expressions. I don't know whether you can see my face or not. So you can express lot of things through just your facial, through your face, without speaking. If I am angry, I may frown. My eyebrows may go down. Like my eyes become smaller. I may frown. And what is this nonsense you are doing? I may express my dissatisfaction. I may frown my face. I'm smiling. I'm relaxed and smiling. Okay. He may be new. He may be making mistake without the knowledge. So it's okay. Face can express many things. So you have to use your facial expressions accordingly, right? Gestures. I'm using my hands to make a gesture. Make a gestures so that you emphasize your communication. When you want to emphasize your communication, you need to use a gestures. You may be nodding, yes. If you want to agree without saying that I agree with you, you have to nod, yes, I agree. So that is also, it's a gesture, because you're using only part of your body. If you use the entire body, it becomes a posture. That's the difference. If you use only part of the body, like hand, head, and other things, and leg and all, only it is gesture. So you have to be aware of that difference also. What's a gesture and what's a posture? Body language, paralinguistic, like a tone, pitch, all that, articulation, rhythm, and all of that is a part of that. Proximity is very important in communication. Suppose you're talking, one to one to with somebody. You should not go close to the people. This is a protocol to be followed, whether at workplace or at interviews. This is a protocol to be followed. If you have others opposite sex person, if you're talking to opposite sex person, and unless that if it is a female, if you're talking to, like, suppose a male talking to female, unless female extends her hand to the male to shake hands, male should not extend his hand first to shake hands with a girl, a female. This is a protocol to be followed. Protocol means if you do something, or like okay, nobody is seeing, or these days posh rules are very strict. Posh is very strict, and like anything you do anything wrong with especially females, you'll be fired from the organization. It's as simple as that. So you have to be following this protocol. This is a protocol. You should not extend, because the girl may be looking cute, the girl may be looking beautiful, but you should not extend your hand to shake your hand with her. She has to extend. Then you cannot say, you cannot withdraw. No, I don't want to shake hands with the girls. No, you cannot do that. She has extended, you have to extend and shake. Okay, that's it. Don't hold it for a long time. 3 shakes, pump 3 times and leave it. This is also protocol to be followed. Don't keep on holding hand and keep chatting. So you should not be doing that. Okay. And the very comfortable distance between a people is about 2 feet. 2 feet has to be maintained. If you are closer than that, people may become uncomfortable conversing with you. So this is very important. So we should not go very close to people, right? Appearance, of course, I told you, like place, all this is a context is very important. All this like listening, actually, you have to be active listener. Active listener is who is active listener? Active listener is the one who listens to the speaker until he finishes his speech. He doesn't interrupt speaker in between with a question, asking questions. Can I ask you a question? No, he will not interrupt. He's active listening. Active listening, you're using actually, he uses both eyes, ears, brain to process the information. Doesn't interrupt the person speaking until he finishes his speech. He makes a note. Note means just words, keywords, for him to fall back and refer at a later point of time. Making a note. You should not be writing pages and pages of notes. That's not, you cannot do listening and writing together at the same time. That's not possible. Listening requires 100% attention. You need to pay attention, undivided attention, 100% undivided attention. You need to pay for you to become a listener. Like otherwise, you will not be able to listen. You cannot do 2 things when you're listening. Listening and some other thing is not possible. So listening requires that kind of attention, that kind of concentration, that kind of focus. Then only you can listen. So you need to be like, suppose you're sitting in a room where you have a lot of disturbance. Lot of disturbance from the fan, lot of disturbance from AC, lot of disturbance from the traffic on the road, next adjacent to your building. Still, you need to block out all of that distractions to pay and listen to the speaker. Otherwise, listening is not possible, right? Yeah. Okay, some of the hooks, like in communication, one thing you have to remember, very important point is you need to be getting attention before you start speaking. Attention of the listener. You need to have attention of the listener before you start communicating. Suppose you are a speaker, you have a receiver in front of you, right in front of you. Unless he pays attention to what you're saying, even you say excellently, excellent communication skills you use, it's a waste of effort, because that fellow is not paying attention, not listening to you. So first and foremost important thing in communication before you start communicating is to get the attention of the audience, your audience. He may be one person or he may be 10 people. It may be 10 people or maybe 100 people. You need to get the attention of the people. Then you have to, if you don't have, see, like it's, suppose you have to speak for 1 hour or half an hour, you have to make sure that people are paying that kind, no, that attention to you all the time. So you need to be using some of these hooks from the time to time to get the attention. Then see, like humor is also part of hook. Humor, play humor, joke, crack a joke, and then give the important message. People become light, people become refreshed by laughing, right? Become light and they are paying you attention. Now you can say important, especially in communication. When you want to communicate very, very, very important things, you need to have some lighter moments before that. People, let people laugh their heads off, then you pass on the message, important message. People reception levels will be very high, they receive very well, right? So all these anecdotes, stories, small short stories, all that, use the first person, talk about you all the time. Don't say, point a finger at other person, you, like, no, you, I was in this situation, I went through this pain, I went through that pain. So use first person conversation, so it will be very effective. So people don't get offended with that kind of questions. Ask questions and metaphors, context. FOMO is like a fear of missing out, fear of missing out. So you have to say, I'm going to say only one time. If you don't listen, it is your problem. You're going to miss the very important part of communication. So you, fear of missing out. So you have to, I will say only one time. So you will not tell that, now I'm using this hook, to get your attention. You will not say that. So you will use this without their knowledge. How? You'll say, I'm only going to tell you one time. Don't ask me to repeat. I already used this FOMO. I'm going to share first time with you this secret. I never shared with anybody before. I use this FOMO. Right? So this is how you use your hooks in your conversation to get attention of the audience. Then communicate. Right? Okay. So, okay. These are magic words. You should be using these words very often in your communication. Let me share one real life example of this. How powerful they are. How magic, really they create a magic in your conversation. So you become magical. Your conversation becomes magical. So once we went, when we were in the US, way back in about 2008, we went to Walmart to buy our, weekend we used to go to do shopping. So went to Walmart to buy the groceries. And my son, little son, second son, was about 3 years old then. And he was catching some things and then he was putting in the cart. And he wanted his items to be built separately. He wanted to carry them out himself with the carry bag. Okay, so he was carrying out all his belongings, whatever we bought for him, in a separate handbag. And he was just, we are about to exit that Walmart shop. So one Afro-American lady, fat Afro-American lady, she just snatched his bag. And she told, say two magical words. Say two magical words, I give back. He was looking at me. What are the magic words? Tell me. He was just, he was nodding his head. Tell me, what are the magic words?
Thank you.
Yeah. So please give me my bag back. Thank you. So she, he was just again, he was just like looking at her with the mouth shut. She just, she felt a little pity for this fellow, and she bent down after a minute. She told, please and thank you. So use these words hereafter in your communication, she told. So that are that magical words. So if you use these words, your communication will be very effective. It becomes magical. It becomes like there'll not be any issues with this kind of coming. If you use words like I'm wonderful, I'm fantastic, I'm doing fantastic. See, if we say, if we ask somebody, like somebody asks you, how are you? I'm fine. You're saying you're fine, but you're not fine. You're you're saying, in your saying itself, it is not fine, right? You say, I'm fine. There's no energy. There's the people may think that you are not well. Something is bothering you. That's why you're not able to speak up. All those things. Now people start thinking in their own perspectives. You're allowing them to think like that because you're not spoken up, us spoken well. When somebody says, how are you? I'm wonderful. What is wrong in saying that? I'm fantastic. I'm doing fantastic. I'm on the cloud nine. You should use these words. These are all magical words. Your conversation becomes much more powerful when you use these magical words. And in US, the community I like very much because they always speak positive language. Never use, never use, they never use the negative language. I learned a lot on communication and presentation. They're excellent, of course, because they're native speakers. They have that always that advantage, but they're excellent presenters. They're excellent marketers. Excellent presentation skills you can pick up from them when you work with them, right? I appreciate what you're doing for me. I appreciate your effort. I appreciate your time. Why don't you use these words, these magical words hereafter in your conversation to make your conversation more magical, more powerful, right? Okay. Okay, avoid these things at workplace, especially workplace, avoid these words. They're all fillers. We call them filler words. Uh, you know, I don't know to tell me. So people may be thinking, right? So if you use these words, your communication loses its effectiveness. It's as simple as that. So when you say, like you're thinking, you're not clear what to speak. You're not thought what you have to speak that time, that point of time. So you're thinking through, and you're using that, making that noise, like while you're thinking. It looks so very awkward in communication. If you communicate using filler words, it looks very awkward, right? It is not a professional way of communication. So if you want to be real, your communication to be real, professional, real effective, you have to you should try to avoid this. These words, always and never, try to avoid them as far as possible. Suppose you gone one day late to the office and your boss says you always come late. What did he do? What did he do? He generalized. You went one day late in 3 months. But what did he say? You come
Always.
always late. Always means that you generalized it. You always come late. You never come on time to office. The same thing, never. You never come on time. That means he generalized. Only one day you missed going right and on time or before time. You never come on time. You generalized it. So you never use, because you have to know what are the meanings they're going to convey to people. Then you will not be using. Otherwise, people use should, like left and right. You should do it. You must do it. They use left and right. If you just listen to conversations of people, they use these words very frequently. No, it is not required. It's not a professional way of communicating. So please try to avoid these words, filler words. Okay. Communication shutdowns. You may be thinking that you're communicating well and you're communicating very fancy, like in a very fanciful way, but these are going to stop the communication, shut down the communication. There'll not be any further communication, may not be there. Don't be ridiculous. That means like what you're doing, you're trying to look down upon the person you're speaking to. Don't be ridiculous. Some of these things, it costs too much, or we are not ready for that. So you are actually discouraging people from conversing further, not encouraging them to converse and share ideas further. So they will be act as a communication shutdowns. So there will be a big list. One more. There, I think, yeah. So no, sorry. This 24 are there. Are you crazy? Are you crazy in suggesting this? Are you crazy means like what? Are you mad? Telling me this, you're telling me something. Only mad people can tell. That means like you're making that fellow mad, even though he's not mad. So you have to be very careful. Every word in conversation, communication has its impact. So you have to be very much aware and very much mindful of what words you're using in your communication. All right. Okay. Is it last one? Yeah. Okay. So another just 2 minutes we'll wind up and take Q&A session.
Sure,
How
sir.
to improve? How to improve your communication? Pick up a word, and use that 3-4 times in a day till you become comfortable with using that word. Different context, different to convey different meanings, use in different context. Same word, right? So try. That's how you improve your vocabulary. Vocabulary is also part of communication. If your vocabulary is good and you are able to use the right word, right time, it becomes your communication becomes effective. So you have to use the right word, right time to make your communication very powerful and very effective. Build confidence, that's very important. Of course, because of paucity of time, we'll not be able to do or discuss any further on these any of these areas. But definitely, when opportunity comes next time, we will deep dive into these areas and discuss more on this. Practice daily, of course. Unless you practice, unless you fail first, practice and fail, then only you know that you're failing and you need to improve. Otherwise, if you're not opening and speaking anything, you don't even know whether you can communicate or not, first of all. So make a mistake, no issues. Everybody makes a mistake. We are human. So make mistakes, but make quick done. Like don't make same mistake again and again. So become a better version every day by day. And then you're good to go after some time, 3 months, 4 months. But you have to be persistent, consistent, practice daily. Like you may not have a person to practice, just stand in front of the mirror, just talk to yourself. That you can do, right? You ask questions, seek feedback, ask my like if this like if you ask, then people notice some change, or not if you are improved or not improved, you will know, people will tell you, right? Develop storytelling skills, very important, as I told you. Like very see, all leaders, all excellent leaders are good storytellers, all excellent leaders are good readers, all leaders are good negotiators, all leaders are good readers. I don't know how many of you read. I don't know how many of you read, but reading helps in picking up or honing your communication a lot. Because I read a lot. I'm a voracious reader. I was just sharing with Shubhangi that when I'm in flow state, I read 2 books a day. So that's my speed. You can read at that speed, still comprehend and retain that, because speed reading improves your memory and concentration, focus. So people say you have to read every word, but no, it's not required. You have all the power. Brain is much more powerful than what you think it is. So you can skip words. You don't have to read every word. You can skip words, lines. Still, it joins the dots and gives a meaning to you. So you don't have to read every word. So that's how you eliminate some words from reading, and you improve your speed of reading. Yeah, stay positive and speak with the clarity. That's all I told you, because the clarity is the king in communication. So you need to have clarity of what you want to speak every time. Yeah. So now I think we have come to the discussion part. I think the session is open, or the forum is open for any questions. People have any questions, you may pose or you may write down chat box. So some of you, like Shubhangi, should be able, you will be reading those.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah, please.
So, audience, we request you to write your questions in the Q&A section available on your screen. We have received some of the questions from the audience. So, first question is from Kanishk. He has asked, uh, how to introduce yourself in an interview. Uh,
Okay. Good question. People have this question on the top of their mind. So this is a question by default. It's asked in interviews. Introduce yourself first. First question. It could be first question itself in an interview process. Introduce yourself. So what you need to introduce there? How to introduce? How to sound that you're the right fit for the position they are looking for. So your introduction makes that like make them or matters. It matters. It makes or breaks that that position for you. So self introduction, you have to talk about your name and your, if you are married, you need to talk about your immediate family. If you are not married, you have to talk about your parents and what they do, what are their professions. If both are working, you need to mention that. Then you have to talk about your education qualifications, what you're good at, what you're bringing to the table. See, always keep this in mind when you're talking something during the interview process. You have to always talk from the point that you are the right fit for the position. So you have to say or claim that you have skills required for that position. No, you have to, you may not have that time. Just no, just for heck of saying, you need to say, sound confident. Don't say it is you're come rehearsed. No, like don't sound rehearsed. You need to sound natural to the interviewers. That means it has to flow. There has to be smooth flow of conversation. So you need to practice, 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 practice. So what I say is you need to have your elevation pitch, elevator pitch, we call it elevator pitch. You need to have elevator pitch ready. For a different audience, it will be different. Elevator pitch means no more than 30 seconds. It should not be more than 30 minutes. You should able to tell what is your uniqueness, what's your unique point, selling point for that position. So talk about your qualification and the skills that are you have, nobody else has, to claim that you are the right fit for the position. So that's how you have to introduce everything. Anything you talk in the interview process should be from the point of making sure that you are talking in a tone, you are sounding confident that you are the candidate they need to consider, nobody else. So that's how you have to introduce yourself. It requires practice. Of
So,
course, since no, like there may be a lot of questions. I'm just telling you how to speak, how to introduce yourself. Always introduce yourself, selling yourself. Why you're there? You're selling yourself. So you need how you sell. You have to claim that you have skills which nobody has. Then only you will be able to stand out. Otherwise, you are one among the crowd, right? So that's how you do it. Yes.
so what should we do so that the even if we practice, it doesn't sound rehearsed. Our introduction doesn't sound rehearsed during the interview.
See, like most of people have a public speaking no fear, right? Or they may get stressed up, all that. Huh? So you need to be cool. So it's also required. You need to practice that. You need to take a lot of deep breaths before you enter the room, interview room, so that you're calm. Even they ask you some serious question they which you for which you don't know the answer. You need to be say you have to be very honest, saying that I don't know. Can you please tell me the answer? So
Right.
you're what is that you're showing here by asking to share the answer with you, because you're telling you're open to learn, you're willing to learn. All
Right.
this will be very much matter in the interview process. You may say I don't know and keep quiet. No, don't end there. You have to say, add to that, can you please share me the answer? I'm very much interested in knowing the answer. So you're saying you're putting yourself for, you're like initiating discussion further, saying that you're open, willing to learn. That is what people look for, interviews look for, openness to learn. You're open to learn or not, you're close to learn. If you're close to learn, nobody will hire you.
Right.
So this is how you are to tell.
Right. So.
Yeah, any more questions?
Yes, so next question is from Soumya. She has asked how to present and put communication and professional skills in our interview.
How to present, is it?
Yeah. Put your communication and professional skills in
Yeah.
front of the interviewer.
Yeah, first is of course verbal communication, very important. What you communicate verbally, and your body language is also very important. When you enter the room, you may become little panicky or little fearful or frightened to face the interview. That may be the first interview, right? You may be facing the first interview, so you have some fear element gripping you. So you need to be appearing, sounding, first of all, energetic, interested, very much interested. You're very much interested in joining or taking up that position and claiming that you have skills which nobody has, nobody else has. So you have to genuinely show your interest in the position that they are interviewing for. That's one thing. Presentation, you need to dress well, you need to be confident, you should sound confident, talk confident, smile, and be honest. If you don't know, say don't know. Don't try to beat around the bush. That nobody likes it. People are no interviews are not dumb guys, so they are very smart fellows, right?
Right.
So don't beat around the bush. If you don't know, say don't know, please. But you would share me the answer. I'm very much willing to know. So that's how you go about presentation. Of course, you need to be presenting. Use the power of three. I don't know how many of you know this. In communication, power of three is very important. Power of three. That means you break your communication into three parts, three sentences every time. Suppose you talk about skills, you talk about three skills and stop. Three skills which are very much relevant to the job that you are applied or for the job that you are facing the interview for. And when you come to introduction, talk about three sentences about yourself, your education, your parents, your siblings, and your qualifications, your skills. Three things. Power of three. And people will be able to remember that conversation for long periods. This is the power of three. Every public speaker, orators, public or good or excellent orators, all are use this power of three, including Obama, all these people, like Bush, George Bush, Ronald Reagan, then all these public motivational speakers, they use power of three. Even in a movie dialogue writers, they use this power of three left and right. In Sholay, which came around 45 years ago, one dialogue was very famous. Kitne aadmi the? So this is the power of three. Three words used. Kitne aadmi the? So people remember Sholay for that dialogue, even after 45 years. That's a power of three. So use power of three, break it into three sentences in a very specific area. Like talk about skills, three skills, very specific to that job. You may have 100 skills, but if you have only this, you may elaborate later if they allow you to do that. But when you're talking, use only this power of three and specific three skills that are relevant to the position. So this is how you are to present. It becomes a very powerful presentation. Power of when you use the power of three in your communication, it becomes a very powerful presentation. People remember that for long periods.
Right, so.
Okay, yes.
Next question is from Sagar. He is asking how should we dress during a interview?
Okay. Dress to your best of your ability. You have to look at your best. As I told you, that is going to create some impression. Anything you do creates some impression on others. Please remember this. Any word you speak or anything you do in the public places creates some impression about you on the minds of people. So if you want a good impression, create a good impression, you have to look good, right? Appear good. So then you have to dress like this if required, if possible, if you can do, if you can tie. You don't have to tie, from house. Wearing a tie is a very normal thing. You can wear a
Wearing
tie.
formals is really important for giving an
Yeah,
interview.
one thing, yeah, formals are very important because it gives you, like, see, even dressing like this gives you confidence because you're looking good. It gives you confidence. Dressing has an element of to like it gives confidence. When you dress
Right.
well, you become more confident than otherwise. So dress well to your best of your ability. Look good. Look at your best. Trim. You have a beard, okay, having a beard, everybody has a beard these days. It's okay to have a beard, but neatly groom it. Don't have a beard going in different directions. So that gives a bad impression, right? So they may be thinking that you're growing beard, like you may do that as well while coming to work for them. So you don't do anything else. So
People also tend to color their hair.
it looks very casual. See, when you don't dress well, you look or sound very casual. So casual people, should I hire casual people who are casual? Why should I hire people who are casual? Not very serious, but a career. So this is the impressions. It's an impression you're creating on the minds of interviewers. If you don't dress well, that's what they think. right? So actually, I keep conducting or going on the panel of many companies, many multinationals also, because this is what we see as an interviewer. Is it really casual or serious in his approach? So some people go to interviews, with in chapel, slippers, very casual. Should I hire them? Of course not. He may be
No.
excellent guy, academically excellent, top performer, gold medalist. I don't hire because he's casual, too casual for me. A fellow who is dressed well, look well, talk not so good, but is moldable, he is open to learn, I will hire him. Other than hiring a guy who is a headstrong, who has a headstrong, whose head is strong, right? Who has a ego problem, being looking casual, not taking care. This is the opportunity you're getting once in lifetime. Some people are dying for that opportunity, and you come very casual. Why should I hire such people into my company? That's the impression you're creating. So dress at your best. If possible, like light shirt, dark pant. That's a business dress code. Light shirt, light color full shirt, right? If there some days nowadays you have buttons also, don't button up, don't wear a shirt which has the buttons. You need to button up, otherwise then they'll be hanging and the tie will be moving around. Don't wear such shirt. Just wear a collar shirt and wear a tie if possible, if you can. Then look at your best. That gives an impression. You are creating an impression. First best impression is the best impression. Last best impression is also best impression. When you
True.
leave the interview room, you are creating an impression. When you look back and say thank you one more time before you passing through the door, it shows that you're really interested. You're really caring. So people, you may stand a chance to be hired. And people just walk out without even turning back and like thanking interviewers. Doesn't go well, especially when we have people like me in the interview room, right? So everybody is not same. So you have to try to satisfy everybody. So there may be one person, one interviewer, there may be multiple interviewers. So you need to understand them quickly, what they're looking for, what they want from you. You need to give them that. Okay. Any other questions?
Yes, sir. So Maya has asked if the interviewer is asking for expected salary, what could be the answer for that?
Okay. If you are a fresher, you have no choice. You cannot, because you're looking for a job, you're looking for a breakthrough, and you're like kind of become desperate. You don't have a choice. So it is actually for freshers, there is not much of negotiation scope for negotiation, because they have a range of salary. They'll fix based on your college you pass out from. Suppose you're passing out from like premier institutions like IIT and IIMs, they may fix you at a higher range of that. If not, they may fix you at a lower range of that salary if you are a fresher, especially for freshers. For for experienced people, you need to negotiate. In negotiation, first offer has to be ignored. First offer has to be rejected. In negotiation skills, please remember this. Whatever offer they make you, you need to reject. No, I just like you say, you don't say this very, you have to say diplomatically. Like you want to say no, and you don't want to agree to what they're saying, what they're offering you, but you have to disagree agreeably. This is very important skill you need to pick up in communication. Sometimes you have to disagree, but agreeably, without hurting their feelings. So this is very important. You need to handle the situation very diplomatically. How you can do? No, this. Let me just know. Like I've inquired. I've just done enough of my research, and research shows that this is the range that is being offered this position by other organizations, similar organizations. That means you're gone there prepared, so they cannot fool you by offering something. So you have to show that you're gone there prepared. The preparation is the key. Preparation gives you that confidence to talk like that. Is it clear?
Right, sir.
Yeah, so is it when you when especially like experienced people, they can negotiate, very much possible negotiation. They will have a like see, they also know, right? You'll definitely ask them for more, so they'll start in the lower side and they go somewhere like in negotiation. So suppose you're offered there is a range like this is a lower range, this is a higher range. So they start, company starts from this place, you are starting from here, right? You want to pull them, you want to pull the company people towards you, towards higher side, and company wants to pull you to them, towards them. But somewhere in between, when you come in between, you can agree upon. So there is a scope. Suppose you don't negotiate, you lost this much from here to here, you lost.
Right, so
It's, I think, hope it is clear to people who are asked, and also how to negotiate. If you don't negotiate, you tend to lose. As simple as that. They'll put you on lowest side possible, lower side possible.
so
So
negotiation
most
is
most of
really
people say
important.
like most of people say as per company norms. That's like no, it shows you're not prepared. You've gone there not prepared. What, you've gone with a lot of desperation. Whatever they offer, you want to accept. Your desperation. You shows your desperation. Never show desperation in the job interview processes.
Right, so
If you show your desperation, you'll never be hired. It's as simple as that. Don't show your desperation.
understood, sir. Right, so
And see, like people, interviewers also facing in difficulties. Let me share, because one of the companies in Bangalore are facing, face this problem very much. People take offers and they don't join them. This is a very peculiar issue. People take offers, but they don't join not the company organizations. They show this offer somewhere else and get a better offer. I don't know. Some of you may be doing that, but it's not a very healthy practice. And see, like if you want to really join, see, otherwise, see, you're wasting their time, effort, interviews time, companies money to call you. If you suppose you're traveling from outside location, they pay you to and fro, right? All that is a waste of effort and waste of money. If you're not interested, why you're going at all, first of all? So you also have to assess yourself whether you're really interested in joining, taking up the job or not. When you go there, you have to show that genuine interest. Yes, I'm interested, and prove that you are the right candidate for the position. That's a skill that you need to pick up as an interviewee.
right, so
Yeah. Any more questions?
yes, sir. Shaik is asking if the interviewer asked some questions which for which we haven't prepared. So how to tackle that situation?
So yeah, as I told you, we already addressed this issue. So if you don't know, you don't know. But I'm interested in knowing. Please let please share me, sir. Please share me the answer. I'm very much interested in knowing that. So
Right.
you cannot fool interviewers. They will know that you don't know the answer because your body says it all. When they ask you, you kind of fumble, mumble, like you kind of do all. Oh my God, they asked the toughest question. I even don't know. They, from the body language, they'll figure out that you don't know the answer. But if you try to beat around the bush, they think that this fellow is manipulating. He may be manipulative once inside, once he enters inside also. So
Right.
you never stand a chance to be hired. If you don't know, show the honesty. I don't know. It's people appreciate that, your honesty. See, you don't have to know everything that they ask you, right? Everybody knows everything. Of course not.
Yes, sir.
So suppose they ask you 10 questions, you may know, you may answer 8 available. 2 you really don't know. You really don't know. It's okay. But don't never try to answer all 10 and look fool afterwards. That's part. Best part is whatever you know, you answer confidently and to the best of your ability, then you stand a chance. Of course, everybody doesn't know everything, right? It's possible. It's not possible to know everything. So it is okay, agreed, accepted that don't know something. People don't know everything. And
Right.
don't try to prove it otherwise. So you may become fool in the process. Is it clear? Yeah. Thank
Yes,
you.
sir. So my last question to you is people having language barriers, mostly Hindi speaking guys who are freshers. Uh, if they are giving an interview in an MNC and they have skills but they have a language barrier, so how can they crack the interview
So
based on their skills?
they have given the answer in the question itself. They know the weakness, right? They never stand if they go to MNCs and with that poor communication skill. They never stand a chance. That's simple as that. There's the answer in the question itself. They know that is a weakness. They know that is their weakness. Communication is weakness. Communication is the big game changer. If you want to win that interview and win the job, you have your communication has to be excellent. Nothing short of that. As simple as that. And if you go and talk your vernacular language or regional language, nobody like even shows anything. Don't even care. They don't care for you because they have so many other people in the line queue, waiting for that position to be interviewed. Why they should hire you now with so much uh, communication barriers, communication issues? Because most of MNCs, especially like see here, they may have an operation here in India, but then the people here work sitting here, they need to work back with their parent company somewhere else, maybe in Europe or in USA. You cannot say that no, I cannot converse. You have to have a talk, right, to do the work, to get the work, to to make to converse with customer. You need to have that communication. Of course, unfortunately, English is used most of the time,
True.
not Hindi or any other language. They don't pick up. Customer doesn't care whether you know English or you know Hindi. It's because they are giving you work. They are God. They are to be treated as a God. You have to do what they want. So you have to learn their language. Not they don't learn they're not required. So if you ask them to learn our language, they may go to somebody else.
What if they can converse in English, but not their diction is not that much clear?
So you have to polish it. That's what I'm saying. No, very, very important. If you go with the say weak, it becomes very evidence that is your weakness. And
True.
most of people look for people who are conversant, like smooth in conversations, smooth in communication, fluent in communication, because that is a requirement for them. They cannot hire somebody who needs to be trained again for a month or 3 months, 4 months. They don't have time. Companies don't have time like that. Some people may do that with especially when they hire freshers, but other people, experienced people, they may not stand a chance like that to be inducted into training programs before they are put on to work. No. So because
Right.
they're paying, no, they're paying salary, so they need to get that time billed to the customer. So they may not give a chance to people whose communication is not so good. So
Right.
knowing that it is a weakness, you have to work on that. So it's a good thing that you recognize it's your weakness. You need to work on, polish it, work daily, practice something. You have a lot of tools these days, a lot of institutions available. Of course, we also do, but I don't know how we can get to us or have access to us. But definitely it is required. You need to be good, especially like people who are kind of interested in working in MNCs. MNCs means like your communication has to be excellent.
Right. So
You're aiming for MNCs, good, excellent. Your aim is good, high, but you have to prepare for that. It doesn't come easy, right? So you have to prepare. If preparation is again, it makes you confident. You can face confidently. So go prepare.
right. So thank you so much, sir, for such an engaging and insightful session. Your tips have provided immense value to everyone here, and I'm sure our audience feels more prepared to approach their first interviews with confidence. To our audience, I hope you have found this workshop as enriching as I have. Please take a moment to fill out our feedback form so that we can bring you more such insightful sessions. Thank you so much, sir, for the session.
Yeah, thank you so much.